Hello and welcome to the Ultimate Bedrock Survival Guide. My name is Lost Bobbin, and I am here to share everything I know about how Minecraft works on PC, tablet, console, Switch. If you play Bedrock Edition, you have found the right place. Today is all about villages and villagers. We're going to finally visit all those villages that I've seen but ignored over the past few episodes. I don't really carry too much with me on these kind of trips. It's mostly a couple bundles, my crafting table, a bed, enough food and tools. I'm not really going caving. I don't think I'll be in too much danger. I'm going to share a few facts about villagers and introduce you to all of the villager professions. There are 15 different professions for us to try and find today. Now, I have a printable resource guide that you can download for free that has all of the information we're going to cover today. You can find that at my Buy Me a Coffee account in the description. Our first village is located just to the west of my base. I wanted to show you something along the way. This is a broken nether portal. It's not dangerous and it will not take you to the nether in this configuration. It's broken after all. If you come across one, I recommend you just pull everything out of the chest if you want. We're going to talk about the nether in a later episode. Behind me is our first village. Now this village is due west of our entire base. So this village is a very important village, and how I treat the villagers and how I treat the space will be different than how I enter other villages. Key is that I am going to sleep through the night outside of the village and then prepare myself to run into the village and do two things. The first thing is to harvest any crops before the farmer villager can harvest them. And the second task is to secure at least 2 villagers so that I can use them as a resource later on. I don't know how Java Edition works, but in Bedrock, the first thing that happens when you enter a village is that the farmer will run in and try and harvest all of the fully grown crops. All villagers have 8 slots of hidden inventory. You can't access them, but the farmer uses these slots to harvest and replant crops. This is a feature we're going to use later on when we start doing villager farms. But for now, let's just go over the basic usage of a villager. So you left click on them, you don't punch them, and they're going to show this user interface that tells you what you can trade with them and what they'll trade with you. And it's all based on their profession table. So I'm going to break this composter and then replace it. Before, the villager was trading carrots with us, and now the villager is trading beetroot with us. So you can actually change what the villagers will trade with you based on the profession table and based on what we're just going to call rolling, or like rolling dice. So when this one comes back, what we're hoping for is that they're going to trade potatoes, because potatoes is what we just harvested, and so is what we have to trade. Ta-da! So the villager's now trading potatoes, which means we can exchange potatoes for emeralds, and then we can go use those emeralds to shop anywhere else. Once you've traded with the villager, they're locked in. So they can't change to any other profession, and this farmer also cannot change to selling carrots or beetroots anymore ever again. It's a potato villager, that's that. Up on the hill over there is a librarian. Now librarians are very important. They sell enchanted books. Some of the enchantments can be acquired by using the enchantment table, but the most powerful enchantment, which is called mending, can only be gotten as loot from fishing, certain treasure chests, from a pillager raid, or from this librarian. At the moment, there's only 2 enchantments that a librarian will not sell. So making a trading hall of librarians to make you a bunch of enchanted books can be super useful. So the same rule goes for the librarian that goes for the farmer. All you have to do is break their profession table and reset their trade until you get the book you're looking for. The librarian's profession table is called a lectern. Now you can use it to hold books, like if you have a book and a quill, but otherwise a lectern does not have a specific user interface for you, the player. I guess I forgot to mention that we can actually use the composter. We can throw things in there like shrubs and seeds and things like that, and it'll turn it into bone meal. Oh my gosh, I can hear a zombie. Oh dear. Okay, so I need to go protect these villagers. These are my villagers. They're the ones that I'm going to breed and use for all the farms later on in the game. Ooh. Oh, and it gave me a carrot. That's cool. Okay, let me go ahead and show you how I protect a village. What I do is I grab all the beds that I can find in a village, and I look for basically the biggest house. And then I go and combine all the beds into one house. And then at night, they'll pathfind to these beds, and once I have at least 2 in here, I can lock them in and secure them for later use. Villagers are not smart. They don't protect themselves against the hostile mobs. Oh yeah, they also have cats. Cats spawn in villages. It's where you find cats. The other thing you can find spawned in villages are iron golems. Now, iron golems do protect the villagers. Oh, and they'll fight you, so do not hit them. All right, now that I've got my bed sorted, I can go ahead and visit all the rest of the buildings in the village, check the chests, and I'll also look around for more profession tables. Night is falling, and you can see the villagers are starting to walk into my building and go to bed. Oh, that guy with the green shirt? Yeah, so it's a nitwit. It will never have a profession, and it's okay for breeding, but it's kind of not worth saving. It has a different sleep schedule than everybody else. Since I have 2 villagers in there, I'm going to go ahead and secure the building. You crouch and you put 2 solid blocks over top of the door. And then you go to sleep. Maybe you'll get lucky and you can capture a couple of the other ones tomorrow. The only profession blocks in this village were the composter and the lectern. So I'll collect both of those. And then while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and collect all these oak logs. I find that sometimes collecting resources by tearing down a village is pretty efficient. You're going to find lots of handy early game resources in a village. It's the main reason that I skipped it. So, like, here are all these hay bales. You can collect all these hay bales, break them down into sheaves of wheat, and use that wheat to breed the cows for your enchanting table. It's possible you don't even have to start farming. Since we're so close to my base, I'm just going to find a place, I'm going to drop down a chest, and I'm going to empty out everything that I don't need to take with me on the bigger adventure we're going on today. I'm going to use this red bundle to collect all the profession tables that we gather today. I'm hoping that we find all 15 professions within a village. That's it for the first village. I've got my villagers secure, and I can head on out. Now, I can spot the wooden roof of a village over here to my right, but it has a lot to do with render distance. So sometimes if you're playing on something like a Switch that has a low render distance, you might go right past a village and not even know it. So I entered this village. The only thing I'm concerned about is grabbing the crops. I don't have to actually save these villagers. They're kind of too far away from my base, and it'll be a real annoying thing to have to drag them all the way home with me. I see the Iron Golem, and I see... oh, shoot. So the farmer already got to these plants because, well, honestly, I fell in a crevasse on my way here. But I can still harvest what's left, and what I'm gathering here are beetroot seeds. So I'm no longer gathering the beetroot, just the seeds. But for me, that's actually okay, because I don't really need the beetroot. I'm okay with just having the seeds to carry home, and then I can plant the beetroot back at home. Oh, yep, so this guy's already planted the potatoes where I cleared it. That's okay. It's their mechanics. Let's go see what else is in this village. I'm starting off with all the chests, and oh, that's pretty cool. It's got an emerald in it. So I'm just going to chop up the chest with my axe and pick up the drops and head on out. So if you come across one of these stone structures, it means you're in luck. You found a cleric. The cleric's profession stand is called a potion table or potion stand. So let's pick that up, and we're going to go find a villager so I can show you how it works. Oh, hello, Wandering Trader. Let's see what you've got going on. Oh, you'll sell me an emerald for some of these hay bales I'm carrying. Let's do that trade. Okay, so you only bought 2 hay bales, and then you're locked out. That's not amazing, but at least I got 2 emeralds. In this building, I should find a blast furnace. A blast furnace is used to cook up your metal things like iron and gold, but it cooks them up faster. So let's take this with us and go find a villager. So here's the villager without a profession, and when I place down the block, they become an armorer. And they're easy to recognize with the goggles on their head. They sell armor, but what's important with an armorer is that they buy iron. So there's going to be a point, if you start building an iron farm, that this villager will be a source of emeralds. Now let's do the potion stand. Aha, now we've got a cleric, and if you click on the cleric, they buy and sell all sorts of interesting potion-y kind of stuff. The key for them early game is that they buy the rotten flesh, so it's a great source of emeralds from all the rotten flesh you've been collecting. Now pretty much all the profession tables you can make using resources you gather, but not the potion stand. That one requires you go to the Nether, which we haven't been to yet, so it's nice when you can find them, because then you can make a cleric and turn all that flesh you have laying around into emeralds. Now in here is an important profession stand and villager. So this is the Stonemason, and they buy clay and they sell bricks. They're also the only ones that sell quartz, and its profession stand is called a stonecutter. Stonecutter is terribly important for building because you're able to cut stone in a more efficient manner than using a crafting table. The chests that you find in a village can sometimes be exciting or a letdown, but these days they'll generally have a bundle in them. So it's a source for a bundle so you don't have to stay up at night and kill spiders. Or if you're playing in peaceful mode and there just are no spiders, you can get bundles from villages. Another thing you can get from villages is white terracotta. Some of their buildings are made out of white terracotta, which is just a nice building block if you're going to build your little house or anything using maybe a medieval style. Finding a Badlands biome might be a trick, but you can always just tear down a little villager house to get the white terracotta. So far, we've only visited plains biome villages. This one's going to be a snowy biome or tundra. But especially because of the snow, there's going to be some structures in here that are going to look like an igloo, but is not actually the igloo structure. But let's walk around in here a little bit. This is a really cool looking village. Of course, we grab all the beetroot. So it seems this village is half plains and half tundra, because you can see the different outfits the farmers are wearing. So the one on the right is wearing the typical plains village outfit, and then the one on the left there is wearing a snowy outfit. And I have to admit, the snowy outfit is probably one of my favorites, and it looks so warm and cozy. So over there is just a house. It kind of looks like the igloo, but these are just houses. So you go in there and you find the bed and you find the chest. Now this seems to be the library, because that's a librarian. And we're going to go inside. I've never been in one. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is so pretty. I mean, even now, like, I've never been in a icy village library. Wow, that's really pretty. So this is a fisherman. We're going to follow him to, oh, hello. Oh, dear. Okay, so the hearts mean they're going to breed, which means a little baby villager is going to pop out. It's going to look like that, except there it is. All right. So I think what this means is that this village has more beds than villagers. So they're just going to automatically do that until all the beds are capped. So over here, this is going to be a great one. So the profession table this guy uses is a smoker. And a smoker cooks meat faster than a regular furnace. And what you can trade with a butcher is meat stuff. So you can trade all your raw meat with a butcher, and that's about it. I don't know, we're going to collect them all, and I'll show you at the end. I don't think I've ever used a butcher outside of a Skyblock series. In here are a bunch of barrels. Now, barrels are the profession table of a fisherman. So this is a fisherman, and these are barrels. Barrels are always empty. It's kind of a letdown. And the fisherman sells fishing stuff, but if you level them up, a fisherman will buy string. And if you have a spider spawner, a fisherman becomes a great resource for emeralds. In this building, we're going to find a smithing table. So a smithing table is how you're going to upgrade your armor later on or add the cool armor trims. Let's pull this out and go find a villager to test it with. So it takes a strangely long time because it's only made with iron and wood. That's all right. And we're also definitely going to take all the lanterns out of this village because they cost iron nuggets and they're just laying around here for free. So be careful in these kind of snowy biomes if you see a polar bear. So polar bears by themselves won't harm you, but if they've got a baby with them, they will become hostile and attack you. And they attack hard. Polar bears will kill you. Let's set down the smithing table and see what we get. Not that guy. Somewhere around here is somebody who has sparkled and wants their smithing table. I wish it were you. Oh, there they come. Here they come. This is actually a problem of having such a big village. So this is the interface of the smithing table, and this is a toolsmith. Now, a toolsmith will sell you tools. Some of them will be enchanted, some will be plain, but a key with this guy is that he will buy iron. So similar to the armor and weaponsmith once you have an iron farm. I stayed up a little too late last night, and so the monsters came out. This blue guy, it's called a stray, and the arrows actually have poison in them. So let's see if I can kill it. Yep, let's see if I can kill it. And do I get any of the poison arrows? Thankfully, I didn't get hit by anything. Nope, I did not pick up any poison arrows, and you're only selling bookshelves. Anyway, there's some cool other mobs in the different biomes. I feel a little terrible, but I am going to break down this beautiful librarian's house because I want the books. This is just an example of how if you visit villages, you can end up gathering all those resources that we built by hand. I might end up with enough bookshelves to make the enchanting table level 30 without killing a single cow. That was a really amazing village, and I ended up getting a ton of resources from them. If you're keeping track at all, you're going to notice that the coordinates I'm at now are right by spawn. So I did find this village in the first episode, but I ignored it until this episode. But the thing is, you would not have ignored it. And the first thing you would have found was this broken nether portal right here. So let's just go open the chest and see what you'd have gotten. So I've been walking around and there is no chest. Oh well. But there is a gold block up there and another one in the lava. So if I had an iron pickaxe by now, I could have picked those up. Okay, let's go check out this village. As we look around this village, the first thing I'm going to notice is how most of the roofs are made with solid spruce logs. Those are pretty good for harvesting. And then there's also these sweet berries. Sweet berries are food, but the berry bush is actually prickly. So if you run through it, you're going to take a little bit of damage. So sweet berries are good for food, decor, as well as defense. You can surround your property with sweet berries to keep mobs out. Oh, here's a weaponsmith. Actually, there's two weaponsmiths. They use the grindstone as their profession table, and they're pretty cool with their eye patch. So they sell weapons, but they also buy iron. So that's pretty cool. And then, here's a little nature for you. That's right, the wolf is chasing the fox. We already know how to use a grindstone, but that's what that looks like. And let's go see if there's a chest in here. They're usually pretty good. What? Are you kidding? That's not just good, that's shock. I don't think I've ever seen a chest that good in all my years in Minecraft. Holy buckets. Look at that, 9 obsidian and 2 diamonds. That's enough to make an enchanting table once you have a book and to fix that nether portal in order to go into the nether. Guys, this is an epic chest. Anyway, it's right by spawn. You would have found it and you would have been like, woo, I don't even have to look for diamonds. This guy with the gold monocle is our cartographer. That means we have a cartography table around here somewhere. That's a new profession table. Let's go find it. While I was looking for the cartography table, I found these pumpkins. So these are pumpkins, and I'm going to go ahead and harvest them because it almost makes all of our foodstuffs complete. Here's a cartography table. I think they're really cool looking. So this is going to be how we make maps. So let's go ahead and break this guy and take it out back to our villager. Now, a cartography table can be pretty important for getting emeralds because there's a really cool hack once you figure out how to zombify a villager of basically multiplying your emeralds between the librarian and the cartographer. A cartographer is also really important for finding maps because they sell the maps to the ocean monument, the trial chambers, as well as a woodland mansion. But you do have to level them up, so you have to sell a lot of paper to get there. So I have been to 2 more plains biomes villages, but I didn't find any new profession tables. So now I'm in a Badlands biome adjacent to a desert biome, and this is a desert village. Different villages have different stuff. So this one's got flower pots and cacti, which is pretty cool resource to find early game. Because of course we can make a flower pot, but we cannot make a cacti. You have to go to a desert to find that. And then if we walk in here, we're going to see some glazed terracotta. Now this is just cooking colored terracotta in your furnace, and there's a bunch of terracotta behind me. But you're also going to find different village houses. Like this is actually the cleric's house, because you can see the potion stand here. This pot's holding what's called a dead bush. You can see dead bushes all over the ground in the desert, but you have to use Silk Touch to pick them up. So it's nice to be able to just walk into a desert and punch a flower pot, and then you have the dead bush for different decor reasons. These are the outfits the desert villagers wear, but you can still pick out the farmer because of his straw hat. Another thing you're going to find in villages a lot is a rabbit hide. So rabbit hides are from rabbits. There's a rabbit. And what happens is the cats of the village will kill the rabbits and just leave the hide there floating around to pick up. If you're really in a pinch, you can turn 4 rabbit hides into 1 piece of cow leather. Now, rabbits also drop meat, and raw rabbit can be cooked and used for rabbit stew or just eaten straight away. These tall structures generally don't have any profession tables in them, but I find their treasure chests have the best loot. But it's at the very top of a tower, and I'm not going to spin you all the way around to get up there. Oh, look, it's got a bunch of emeralds in it. That's pretty handy. So what I'm doing here is I'm picking up what's already in my inventory and I'm double A clicking it. And when I do that, it pulls everything out of the chest and directly into my inventory. Let's talk about the Iron Golem. They're the protectors of the villagers. But check it out. You can punch a villager right in front of the Iron Golem in Bedrock and it just won't care. But if you attack the golem, oh, it's going to chase after you and it packs quite a punch. I'm going to run away here. It kind of lost me. Let's see. Oh, it is spinning around because it is trying to find me and get at me. Oh no, it's pathed. It's pathed to me. Okay, I'm running away again. I don't really want to die here. And I'm going to close that door and block it. There we go. Whew. Now I'm going to go ahead and set my bed spawn here to show you how it'll still be angry at night. Oh, the space is too tight. Okay, I'm going to jump up and place the bed and then go to sleep. Now in the next morning, it's still hostile towards me. Now it always has red eyes, but I guarantee if I went out there, it would kill me. So I'm going to go ahead and kill it. So it does take a while to kill an Iron Golem, and they'll drop between 1 and 3 iron ingots if you kill them. To make an Iron Golem, you need 36 ingots, or 4 blocks. So it's not an insignificant trade-off there. Oh, and I feel terrible because I've kind of left these villagers undefended. Oh, okay, this is a husk. So it's sort of like a zombie, but it's in the desert. The problem with a husk is that it has a hat on its head, which means it will not burn up in the sun. So I need to go ahead and kill all these before I leave the village. I've got those all taken care of, and I wanted to show you guys something that I came across on my way into the village. Coming through the Badlands, I saw an exposed mineshaft entrance. Now, an abandoned mineshaft is a really cool thing to explore, but it might not be something you want to do so early game. I want to point it out, though, for those of you who might be playing in peaceful mode. Abandoned mineshafts are covered in cobwebs, and cobwebs are a source of string so long as you don't hit them with silk touch. Now, this cobweb has a roof of sand above it, so before we hit the cobweb, we want to put down a whole line of torches to break the sand. Otherwise, when the sand falls, it will suffocate us. There's another cobweb. Great. So I'm going to hit this with my sword, and you'll see all the sand fall around me. I've picked up the cobweb in my inventory, but the sand is all just floating around. So I pick up the sand, and then I'm going to have to clean up these torches. I can see an exposed treasure chest over here. Let's go check it out. A nice thing about above ground mineshafts is that some of the treasure chests are also exposed. So we'll explore mineshafts in detail later, but for now, let's see what's in this chest. Well, looks like we've got some rail, some coal, and a name tag. Now, a name tag is a nice early game treasure. You can only get those by trading with villagers or, of course, treasure chests. I have to leave the rail here for now because my inventory is full. When I said my inventory was full, I was not kidding. At this point, I have 2 chest boats full of stuff from all these villages we've visited. Now, I attached the back boat with a lead to the first boat. This is a brand new game mechanic. It's pretty cool. I am headed back to base with all this stuff, but we still have 3 more profession tables to talk about. This is the village that's located to the east of my base. So we saw it in I believe the 2nd episode, but it wasn't time to come down to villages. Now, I did come down to this village off camera just to protect the villagers. So I've showed you how to, hide them in houses and cover the door with dirt or wood or something. And then in this particular village, I found 2 villagers who had gotten themselves locked into a corral. So I just put a roof over them so that the zombies couldn't get at them. I'm going to use these villagers to show you the final profession tables. I just simply haven't been able to find the profession tables, so I'll show you how to make them, and then what the villager looks like and what the profession table looks like. The first thing we're going to do is put down a crafting table, and I'll show you the fletching table. This one's really easy. It's the flint and some wood. The next one's a cauldron. It's a little more expensive with a bunch of iron ingots. And finally the loom, and the loom requires the spider string. But once you make them, they're very useful. So the cauldron can hold water and turns your villager into a leather worker. So a leather worker sells, leather things, but they also buy leather. So if you end up with a cow farm or something like that, you can get emeralds by selling leather. So next up is the loom, which will get you the shepherd. Shepherd has kind of a cool woolen vest on, So the shepherd buys wool and sells things like shears, so you don't have to use your iron for that anymore. They also will buy your dye or sell you wool. And then the loom itself is really cool. It's how you make banners. So we can kind of get to that later. And then finally is the Fletcher. Now the Fletcher profession table does nothing, but the Fletcher itself, well, they buy sticks. A lot of people will use a Fletcher as an early game source of emeralds because all you have to do is chop down a tree and sell them sticks. But the fletching table itself does nothing. All right, let's get these villagers protected again because I want to use them later and head on back to base. I love visiting villages. It was kind of hard for me to hold off for so many episodes, but here we are. We're back at base. I got my cow and my 2 chest boats. Let's go look what's in them. So in here, I have all the foodstuffs that I was able to gather from the villages. So now I have all the crops I need. So I've got the potatoes and the carrots. I've got beetroot seeds. I've got the pumpkins. I've got the sweet berries. I've got everything I need for farming. Now, the fire charge and the lodestone, those are from the broken nether portals. And then this was big, the cactus. So you have to have a cactus in order to have green dye. So now I've got all the dye colors available to me as well. So in this chest, I have all my bundles and all the weapons I found. So I found these in Toolsmith or Weaponsmith or, different chests like that. The gold weapons are from the broken nether portal. I didn't go over the maps. We can look at those later. They're already printed, so they're just going to show the inside of the village, which is a little boring. And then check it out. So I got tons of iron, tons of obsidian. Oh my gosh, the diamonds blew my mind. I can't believe I found the obsidian and diamonds in that village. I'm still honestly a little stunned. So I also wanted to show you how I have a bundle of bundles. Tons of bundles found in villages. So especially if you're playing in peaceful mode, that's really handy. All right, let's lay out all the profession tables we found and or had to make. So profession tables have 3 uses. You can turn a villager into a profession and then trade with them. Some of the profession tables are critical for gameplay, like the grindstone or the stone cutter. And then some are just, they're just kind of a pretty texture and you can use them in your build. So as I was going through the 2 chest boats, I realized that I actually have a 3rd chest that's located on the west side of my base in that first village we visited. And it's actually full of books and all the things we found in the snowy village. Oh my gosh, I have now got a storage problem. My daughter was so nice, and she did organize all of my chests and barrels, but this has gotten out of hand, and our next episode is going to be building a proper storage area and moving into it. Thank you for joining me in this episode of Exploring All the Villages. I have one last piece of information for you. If you come across a village that is filled with spiderwebs or the cobwebs, that's a zombie village. And instead of villagers, it's actually filled with zombie villagers. So just be careful if you see what looks like an abandoned village. So looking forward to the next video. We're going to have to cut down my forest here. And I've actually picked out my place to build and started designing that in creative mode. I'm so excited that you've been joining me on this adventure, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!